Okay, so I really have been wanting to talk about dreams a little bit. And when I say that, I don't mean like I had a dream last night, but maybe. Maybe you did, but that's not what I want to talk about. I kind of want to talk about just like hopes and dreams, like expectation versus reality, sort of, and how to reach for those goals that you have that maybe are harder to reach for. Because I'm not really good at this. I'll be really honest. Like I'm not a goal setter necessarily. I think my lifetime in my lifetime I struggle with the whole reality versus expectation. Like, have all these expectations of how it will be, and then when those expectations are not met, then I get really frustrated and I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I don't care anymore. And I don't want to do this. And then I give up on my dreams. And I hate that I'm like that, but at the same time, I mean, it's not like I'm missing out on too much. I mean, kind of. So in my lifetime, let's see, dreams and hopes and goals. Let's see. I wanted to be a published writer. Technically, I have been published once, but I'm still working on that, actually being like the big time, like writing a book and whatever. I wanted to get married, and if I got married, I wanted to be married. The end of the story. Like, I did not want to end up like my mom had been married like a bunch of times. That terrified me. Like, so I kind of was nervous to get married, but I have met that goal. I'm very lucky that even though my husband and I hit a bump in the road a few years ago, we are stronger than we ever were. And I can't stress enough how much I love my husband and how blessed I am to have him in my life and how much he tolerates my mess, because I am usually a mess and he tolerates me so well. So I'm really thankful for him, and that he helps me meet that goal of being married. So another goal that I had was to go to college and get a degree. I originally thought I would be a fashion designer. I am not a fashion designer, but I do love clothes. And I feel like I kind of inspire other people's fashion. So, I don't know. Maybe not today, as I have my husband's hat on backwards. But I do still love fashion, and it is still, one of those things. I can't help but I love it. But I did go to school, and I actually have 2 degrees. I have my associates in business and a bachelor's in psychology. And I'm really proud of myself because I pretty much did that on my own without any assistance from anyone, including like students that were going with me. Like, I didn't really have anyone helping me along the way. Just saying. And I was a mom at the time, so I'm really proud of myself for that. So those were some of the goals that I had growing up, and still kind of do. Like, even though I have a degree, I kind of maybe have been playing with the idea of going back to school. I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned for that. It's not something that I'm like dying to do, but it's something I've considered. I think it might be beneficial to like go get like a certificate and some other stuff that I don't have a certificate in that would be helpful for finding jobs. But I do have this huge dream to write and to be an author. And I just really don't know how people do this. I actually have some friends who are published writers, and I'm super impressed. Like, how did you get your thoughts together cohesively and write a book? I think it would be one thing to write like fiction or nonfiction or, a story of some kind. But what I want to do is a little more complicated. I want to write about myself, about my life, and about the things that I've experienced and some of the traumas that I have survived, which some people hear me say that and they get defensive. Like, I understand that there are different levels of trauma. I work with kids who experience different levels of trauma. I understand what it is. I am not using that word lightly. I legit have gone through some traumas. And so I would like to be able to write about them and just give other people some insight into how I overcame them and how I'm able to cope with my anxiety, with my depression, with my PTSD, different things that I suffer from because of the things that I have experienced. And it's not going to be easy. It's one of those things that's pretty terrifying, to be honest. And so, lately I've been I've been having to talk to a lot of people about their dreams and about goals and about hopes and about this and that and the other. And I'm over here like, oh, like it's not an easy thing to talk about and to think about, because I'm not someone who has huge goals. Like I don't want to be rich and famous necessarily. My whole life, all I ever wanted was to help other people. And while I think that there are cases where I have done that, I still don't feel like I fulfilled that. Like I don't know if I'll ever feel like I've done enough to help others. I constantly want to help others. And I think that comes from just having felt like I needed so much help before and not knowing where to turn. And so I want to be able to say that I was one of the people who helped someone in that kind of situation. So yeah, it's just a really weird subject for me because of that, because I have hopes and dreams and wants and desires like any other human, but mine are really different than other people's. Like, I don't really care if I ever travel the world. I think it would be cool to go to Italy and Greece before I die. Like, I really think that would be amazing. But there's a part of me that's like, at the same time, it's a lot of money and a lot of work. And, well, I don't know. Like, it's not something that I'm going to regret not doing because I've never been there, I guess. So maybe if I'd been there, I would regret not going again. But because I've never gone there, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to be happy regardless of that dream being fulfilled. It'll be awesome if it happens. That'll be like icing on the cake. But it's not going to destroy me not meeting that goal. Whereas I truly feel like if I don't ever get my book done, which, yes, I've started a book like 100 times, it seems. I feel like if I don't ever complete this, if I don't actually try to accomplish this task, I'm going to feel like I didn't do what I was supposed to do. There's only one other thing, and I don't talk about it very often because a lot of people have opinions about it. There's one thing that I would love to have accomplished in my lifetime, and I don't know that it's ever going to happen because it's not something that I can do on my own, and that is to be a foster parent or to adopt or something along those lines. And I know that a lot of people have a lot of opinions on that, and I know it's not something that is like done lightly. And I know I have friends who are going through the steps to do this now. Oh, my sneeze. I know I have friends who are going through it, who are hitting all those walls and just struggling so much with the system. And they definitely are making me think, I'm glad my husband's not on board with that. But I don't know that that dream will ever stop, because that's one of those things that I have felt like everything I have gone through in my life has brought me to a place where I think that we could do this and we could do a decent job as fostering kids in need. And I know maybe a lot of people say that, and I know that there are people out there who know me who may be like, you're out of your mind, you can't handle that. And that's fine. You're allowed to have your opinion. That's fine. But it's just one of those things that I have for multiple years now felt like that was what God was like leading up to. Like, he was having me experience all the things I experienced in order to be there for someone who needs me. And I feel like that is a child. And my husband's not on board. Not even a little. And I think that's going to be one of those things that I have regret over for my lifetime. But I say that knowing that at least I have the job I have, because in my job I get to work with kids, and whether they are kids who are in need of um, whatever it is that they need, I feel like I am in the place that I am in order to love on those kids, my students, as well as students that I maybe only see in passing through the day. And last week was one of those weeks where one of the kids that I had made friends with definitely pulled at my heartstrings and just needed a little extra love for some reason. And I was very happy that I happened to be one of the people who could give that to them. And, you know, I think a lot of people who work in education feel the same way. Like, we're there to educate and to, you know, take care of those kids during the time that they're with us. But I think we're also there to love those kids and to just make sure that they feel like they matter. And that's my goal every day, is just to make sure that kids feel like they matter. But it definitely helps with not being able to be a foster family. It helps me feel like at least I'm doing something. And so I'm lucky in that. But I'm wondering, like, what is everybody's goals in life? Like, I know that there are people out there who have goals to, like, be rich or to have a certain set of money or whatever. Or maybe your goal is to own properties, or maybe you've always wanted a Lamborghini or a Corvette or whatever. I don't know what car you might like, a Maserati. I don't know. Do people like those anymore? For me, it would always be an old Corvette. I love 57 Corvettes, 58 Corvettes, whatever. They're amazing. But yeah, I'm curious what other people's goals are, because I kind of feel like my goals are kind of weird, because they're not like, I want to have the biggest house, or I want to have the nicest car, or I want to have the most money. Like, it'd be cool to have money, don't get me wrong, but I'm okay if we're just living and surviving and whatever. I don't really care to be rich. I don't really care to be famous. I just want to help people. Like, that's my main goal, I'd say, of all the things that I want to do in my life, is to help people. And I think that's why I want to write so bad about things, is because I feel like my story would help other people. I also think it's really kind of one of those stories where you would read it and be like, whoa. But maybe not, because I don't know. And again, you can have your own opinion if you know me and you want to have your own opinion on me writing a book. That's all up to you to have that opinion. And I say that knowing that there are people out there being like, whatever, I don't want to read your book. I don't really care. It's not out yet anyway. But I know there are other people who want to read the book. So just saying. Yeah, so I don't know. I have kids who are growing up, and I'm kind of curious, like, where they fall on this too. Like, what are their goals going to be? My daughter right now is applying for colleges, and, you know, she wants to be an art teacher, and I'm over here like, don't be a teacher. Just, not that it's a bad thing, but just like, I wish that she would pick something where she would be a little more financially stable, because you just aren't when you're a teacher. You're not stable at all. But I love her for wanting to do that, and actually wanting to be an art teacher, because she's amazingly talented, and like, yes, please. She should be sharing that with the world somehow. So I'm really proud of her for just like wanting to pursue her dreams. And I'm hoping that we are going to help her do that. And I'm hoping that we know how to, because weren't we just doing this, like applying for colleges? I feel like I just was doing that. And well, Tony is in school, so I don't know. And oddly enough, taking psychology classes, which I love, because now he's going to be able to actually have conversations with me and understand what I'm talking about sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I've been trying to think of more things that I dream or hope, or, you know, things that I can put on like a vision board, so to say. And I just don't think I have that kind of mentality where I want to plan ahead so much, because I know life gets in the way. I know expectations are hard to meet. I know reality can be a real bummer. And I guess I'm just maybe I'm cynical. I don't know. I don't know why I don't have bigger dreams. Or maybe my dreams are enough. How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like you need to have like really big goals and dreams? Do you set daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals? I'm very, very curious, like, how everyone does this, because I'm just not that type of person typically. I can be. And like, I know I've been wanting to get back into working out and stuff. And so I know that's got to get back on my priority list. After what happened last month, I definitely am to a place where I'm like, listen, I've got to start taking better care of myself. So I've been trying to be a little more like aware of what is making me feel bad and what is making me feel good when I eat and different stuff like that. So I'm trying. I am. But I just don't think I'm a daily goal setter necessarily. I'm more hey, this needs to happen this week. Let's get it done. And however it gets done that week, that's good. And like I said, this other stuff, the big things, the writing, the helping others, like helping others is a daily thing. That's something I try and do every day. And I just hope that I'm doing enough. But the writing thing, I don't always sit down and write. I try to, but there are days I just can't. Or like today I sat down and wrote like 1,300 words. And it didn't suck. It's not great. And it's hard. It's a hard subject matter. And so me sitting down to write it puts me in this kind of funk sometimes. And so it's difficult for me. And I almost feel like I need someone to help me, like someone who's not attached to it to help me get it out. And I don't know how to do that, like how to have someone help me. I don't know. But hopefully someday it'll actually happen. But yeah, I don't know. We've been talking about it at church. You know, God wants us to have goals. God wants us to, follow our dreams, pursue our dreams. But he wants them to fall in line with him and his plan for us. And that brings up a whole can of worms. Like, what is your plan for me, God? Like, seriously? And maybe you don't believe in God, but I do. And so I'm always like, God, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to be? And then there's that whole teaching of you are where you're supposed to be because God uses your whole life to kind of build you up to who you're supposed to be. And you're supposed to be his servant everywhere you are in your life. So even right now, like talking to you all, I of course am supposed to be sharing his word, which I guess in a way I am. But just like at work or at the park or at the grocery store, wherever you are in that moment, you're supposed to be one of his servants and like just helping others and being kind and loving them and sharing his word if you can. I don't know that I always do the best at that. I do love people and try to be nice to people. And funny story, we went to the grocery store the other day and I'm not even making this up. Like not even. We were walking in and some guy walked in behind us and was like, oh, thank gosh, the air conditioning is on. And we were just kind of like, oh yeah, because it was the day before the rain came. So it was really, really hot. And then he proceeded to like tell me all kinds of stuff that wasn't my business. And I didn't ask to know. And then would find me, like we kept crossing paths in the store and then he would tell me more. And I was just like, uh-huh. And my husband gets so annoyed by stuff like that. And I try really, really hard to just listen and just kind of like acknowledge and sometimes give them words of encouragement. But honestly, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this person? Today, though, at church, I'm pretty sure my pastor would have been saying we were supposed to stop and pray with that person. Now, I didn't do that. I am not a stop and pray with someone kind of person, typically. But I did pray for him when I prayed later. Yeah. I don't know. But so, like, that's the stuff that we're supposed to be doing constantly, and I try to, but I'm also trying to live up to these goals that I have set for myself that I really do think matter. Like the writing thing I think does matter. And I'm hoping she's so tired of me talking and not talking to her. I'm really hoping that I can get it done. And I'm really hoping that I can figure out what direction it has to go on. So we will see. I have been up here for a little bit, so I bet that my time is up at talking to you. And now that my dog is in my face, I think it's time to go cuddle. But I just wanted to come talk to you guys about dreams and see where you were on it and see how you feel about it. And I hope that you'll share in the comment section here on YouTube what you think and how you set your goals. and then look for the next video because I'm planning on coming back and doing more this week because I feel bad that I skipped out for like almost a month and not sharing with anyone. So I will be back. I hope you all have a fabulous week. It is Sunday as I sit here and do this. So have a fabulous week and I will be back. Thanks, guys.